All right, everyone. So this one last thing I want to go over is this kind of website portfolio thing. So this is something we're going to be using throughout the entire class. We're going to be using a program called Weebly that I'm going to go over in just a little bit. I do want to go over briefly kind of what I'm expecting. It's really straightforward. A lot of this is just as long as you follow the directions, you're going to get full marks. For starters, your content. You're going to be doing all the content. You're going to have all the assignments done. We're going to be uploading these assignments here. So as long as you upload the assignments into the website and you just follow the instructions, you're going to get full marks for this. If you're sick or something happens and you don't have the content, let me know because we can talk about not marking you down if it's an excused absence. But again, as long as you're doing all the work, you'll be fine. Structure, same thing. We're going to build it in class, but I'm still going to show you a little bit on this video so you can get a better sense of kind of what to expect and how to play with it. But as long as you just follow the instructions and you have the structures as it's expected to be, you're going to get full marks. Blog posts are similar. Again, we will go over that more in depth, but as long as you are uploading your work to the blog page, commenting on other people's blog posts, and commenting to people who comment on your blogs, you're going to be good to go. I know it sounds like a mouthful, but I believe in you guys. You're going to get it, and as long as you're just doing the work, full points. Visual design. This is an all or nothing thing because I really want to emphasize I am not grading you on your visual design. What is important though is that you do take some creative liberties with this and you make it your own. So if you've personalized it with colors and photos and stuff, it's all yours. If you haven't, no points. That's it. And the mechanics are the same as they've always been. I'm just looking for spelling and grammar, punctuation, things like that. And I'm not talking about in the assignments you do, I'm talking about in the website itself. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it now. We're going to look. So I'm going to minimize this, and I'm just going to pull up kind of an example. So right off the bat, you can go ahead and just create your own website page. It doesn't really matter what you select. What doesn't matter are some of the pages that I'll go through. So like this is an example. I changed this intentionally to be something that I didn't really want, just to show you how easy it is. I'm going to hit edit background. Sometimes it may be stuck on like color, so just click this down and then click on image if you want. If you want a color, that's fine, but I like a good image, so I'm going to hit replace. I could upload something from my computer if I wanted to, or if I don't want that, I can just go through the presets and look for something that I want. Oh, perfect. I like to drink coffee. I like to do stuff. I'm going to select this. I think it looks good. Ooh, I get my name in the middle. Save. That's that. And that's what I mean by like being creative with it. This is all I'm expecting, right? Now, I'll show you too in the other ones. I do some other stuff. So like for starters down here, this is obviously an example, so I was kind of goofy with it, but I will be straightforward with you. You are going to have a page, this homepage, that does include, your name and a bio about you. If you're not comfortable putting a photo of yourself up, that's fine. You can use an avatar. I don't mind that. I know it can be weird to have photos of yourself online, so I can respect that. But try to pick an avatar that's kind of reflective of yourself or the things you like or whatever it may be, right? So I'm fine with that, but I do need your bio to at least be accurate, please. And then under creative favorites, you'll have a little section here that you'll create, and you'll just kind of add, your favorite movie, book, TV show, whatever you want to add. Now, to do this, we're going to use mostly this basic taskbar over here, and it's nothing too crazy. So, I'll show you two things. So one is really important. What I did is when I first came in here, I deleted a lot of sections that I didn't necessarily need, and I'll show you what that means in a second. But when you're trying to add stuff, you're going to use really probably 3 or 4 things in total. The first is going to be the title, and that's just going to literally give you a title. It works like anything else. You can put in whatever you want. You can center it. You can bold it if you want to. You're going to have to select it all, but you can make it bolder. You can increase size, decrease size, whatever you want. The next one is going to be the smaller text, and that's exactly what you would expect. You can go ahead and place it right under the title. It's just smaller. So smaller text, smaller gibberish you add. One thing you're also going to use is a spacer. Now the spacer is really nice because it just literally creates space between your work and makes it more aesthetic. So that way, if you want to, say add a little bit more space or less space, whatever is something you're comfortable with, you can go ahead and just add that space to it and then call it a day. And then another one is images. So this is something you're going to have to drag and drop. Now, you can do this one of 2 ways. So like A, you could have a big old image that you drop directly underneath, or you can also take these, and if you go to the far side, you can actually put them right next to stuff, and that's how I did this down below, as you'll see. So I have, and this is the exact structure. What I did is a title, I had an image, I had this, and then what I also did is I took a second title and I went ahead and put it just above that first one. So there you go. And that's how I did this structure, and that's what you're probably going to have to do and create as well. And then once you're good with that, you're good to go. The next thing I'm going to show you, and you won't have this page, I did a how-tos, and this is something that I think will be useful for a lot of you. And it's just this. It's just a how-to of some of the assignments. Like I'm going to give you how-to of how to do Cami, how to use Canva, and then once I'm done, I'll include this video as well that shows a little bit of what we're doing. So for these, if you have videos or anything, I literally just went down here to YouTube, and I dragged and dropped it in, and it populated, and then I selected this here, and I went ahead and put in the YouTube link. Nothing too crazy. It's stuff that's kind of fun, but we're not going to be doing a lot of videos. I just thought you'd like to know that. The first thing you are going to have is a creative analysis page. Now, this is something you likely are not going to have right away off of one of your pre-built pages, so what you're going to have to do is go to Pages. You're going to add a page. It's going to be a blog page. And as you can see here, this is what the blog page looks like. It's almost exactly like what I've already got. It just doesn't have anything here, doesn't have a picture back there, no blog posts yet. But you'll be able to add posts, which we'll obviously go over as we need to do more posts. But I'm going to delete this because I don't actually need it. But once you have it, you are going to go ahead and label it creative analysis, and I'll just show you what it looks like. Obviously, what's interesting is here, you're not going to see it. It just looks like this. However, if I were to look at the website from a different perspective, say like the perspective of a student who may be looking at your work, it will actually show me what you posted in the blog itself. So when I scroll down, I can actually see your work. So if you're on this is actually something I wrote a long time ago, and when you look at the Cami video, I did kind of rip into it a little bit because this was a younger me writing this, but my point still stands. You'll see this here, and then if you actually click on comments, it will show the comments. And this is a big deal. I need you guys. You don't need to leave your email, obviously. That doesn't really matter. Your name and the comments do, though, because if I'm going to give you credit, I need to know who posted it and obviously what you posted. I would like you guys to at least post one comment per the people that I assign you to comment on, and then please respond to those. If you respond more than once, that's awesome, but minimum of one response each. And then, of course, that'll slowly build over time, so that way you'll have multiples within the same section. The other page you're going to need to have is this poem and short stories page, and actually I'm going to switch back over so you can just see the design part. So if we're going to the poems and short stories page, back to the build here, this one is really straightforward. All I did was put the title here, and then underneath I did what's called the scribe document. And I'll show you what this looks like because it's really easy. So you take the scribe document, you put it underneath. It's going to come up blank first, and then you click it, and you just upload the file. Whatever file you want to have, you upload it. It works really well with Word docs and PDFs. Anything else is kind of iffy, so just remember that as you're going to upload. You can also change kind of like the height and how much it shows. And then if you make a mistake or you don't want it, just go ahead and delete it. So this is going to be where any poems and short stories you have, you're just going to upload them. Now, I obviously just label these, short story, that's the title, and then creative poems. I'm going to want you to put the actual title of the poem above where this is, or the title of the work, and then you can go ahead and upload your document below. The last page you're going to have is here. It's the comics and graphic novels section. And this one is also similar format. Only difference is I just uploaded a picture of my comic for these ones. And then I did the slideshow option over here. And it's really simple. You just, same thing. You can select the slideshow. When you pop it in, it will actually ask you how you want to set it up. If you want them to show the other pictures or if you want to just do it all at once. The one thing I will say, and this is where it gets kind of interesting, is you're going to want to pay attention to how things publish. And what I mean by that is I will show you. So if I go to my comics and graphic novels, this is what it looks like when it's in here. So it's a little bit shorter than these. It looks like this. Now what I can do is delete these spacers, and that's what it was originally like when I put it in. So if I delete these, I've got this, right? And so I'm going to go ahead now and just check these. Looks good. All right, I'm going to hit publish. So when you publish, anything that you made in here is not going to appear here until you hit publish. So when I hit refresh, you see it's going to be a lot bigger now, and it takes up kind of the whole page. Now my screen is a little bit bigger than normal, so while it looks good on here, it's not going to look great on a phone or a smaller laptop. So what I ended up doing just to be safe is I took these spacers and I went ahead and just put one on either side of it, and then I adjusted the spacer size. So I took this and I moved this over, and then I moved this over. Oops. We did that a little bit too much there, so I'll pop that back a little. Looks about equal on both sides. Looks good to me. And so I publish. So as you can see now, when I refresh this, it's going to appear a little bit smaller than it was before, and I'm back to what I had. So this is important to know because sometimes you may unintentionally leave something there. Like, for example, if I go home and I look here, I still have this here because I didn't delete it and I had hit published. Now, if I went ahead and go home, you know the deal. I'll go ahead and delete these, and then that way when I hit publish, it'll look good to go. But this is important to know because you can really play with anything in here and just know it's not actually going to appear on your website until you officially hit publish. Now, once you hit publish, it is there for good and it's not going anywhere, but you can always just come back and make the edits and then republish, and then you'll be good to go. So this is some of the major stuff. One thing I do really want to emphasize and point out, though, I don't expect you to make this super fancy. If you look at all the pages I have, I didn't do anything too crazy. The back pages are just one blank color. I took what was already existing and I replaced the pictures in them. So even my creative analysis, as you can see, I didn't change anything. I left it all the same. My poems and short stories is a very similar thing. I didn't really do a whole lot to it. I just left it as is. So I don't need you guys to do anything too crazy. It's really just meant to be fun and to be interesting and to be a great way to showcase all of your work. If you are looking towards college and liberal arts or any kind of writing is something you're interested in, I'm more than happy to work with you to kind of talk about how to do a more professional or creative look, or something that you could actually use as a more official portfolio, and we can look at how you want to structure it and what you want to do. But for this purpose, I really just want to demonstrate how it's really nice that you can have a demonstration of your ability to analyze your work and others' works, the ability to create and have a log of poems and short stories, same with your graphic novels and novels, to really showcase and demonstrate your ability to utilize creative writing to your advantage. Now, that's about it for now. Again, I'd really just like to go back to the rubric and point out the things that I am looking for, which is one, I'm looking for the content. As you can see, the content's going to be really straightforward. It should be really easy to do. We're going to go ahead and just do all that we can to make it as uniform as possible. The structure is going to be very similar, so your structure should basically have a home site. It should have creative analysis, poems and short stories, and comics and graphic novels. And the structure should be similar, where you have the header and then the information below. Your blog posts are really just about staying on top of that. Make sure that you are commenting on other people's blog posts as well as they are commenting on yours as best you can. This is more participation based. Visual design is the same. If you make 0 changes, I'm not going to give you any credit. If you change the background even a little bit so that it mimics more what you're looking for, as you can see in mine, I picked all like sci-fi stuff. So pick a genre, pick something that's interesting to you, and then change those headers, and that's all I'm asking for. I will give you points for that. And then the mechanics. And this is not everything. I'm just going to be looking for things like your up here, your portfolios. I'll look at some of this writing, but I'm not going to mark you down if I notice that there was something in like one of your comments or your blog posts, because it's not really fair. I won't mark you down for that. But that's really it. It's not meant to be anything too challenging. It's meant to be really kind of fun and informative. If you feel like you are struggling or having any issues, please reach out to me. This is not meant to be a challenging assignment, and if you are having problems, I would love to discuss kind of how we can make this easier and things that we can do. The last thing I will add, for some of you who really enjoy being creative and writing, you can always upload images of your own writing or sketches if you would like to. Not mandatory, but I have had students do it in the past and they had a lot of fun with that. If that's something you want to do, just reach out and let me know as well so I can help you figure out the best way to go about doing that. All right. We will go over more of this in class, but I hope this is really helpful and you can go back and look through and kind of see some of the stuff I did to help you as we move forward.